Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Mikey Lopez, welcome to Footwork.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So our motto here is make your own path. And as someone who has played with youth national team, won a national championship, played in the MLS, played in the USL Championship and USL League One, what does make your own path mean to you?
I guess following your own goals and dreams and kind of just doing everything possible to make that happen. Obviously, you need a lot of luck in life, and I think, as people say, sometimes you make your own luck. So it's just going out there and grinding every day and making sure that you're doing the right things to give yourself the best opportunity to reach your goals.
And before we dive deeper into your career, tell us, who are you, where were you, and where are you going?
I am Mikey Lopez. I'm from Texas. I played at Birmingham Legion. I currently play for Portland Hearts of Pine in League One. And where I'm going is, honestly, it's all very short term right now. So where I'm going is here. So I'm gonna try and stay here for as long as I can.
There you go. Now I wanna, in no chronological order, I wanna go to young Mikey Lopez. I think he was 20 at the time, or maybe 19. He's playing U20 national team. You win a national championship with UNC. You get drafted by Sporting Kansas City, and then you get humbled for probably the first time in your career. Maybe I would imagine youth as well, where you're not playing, you're not really considered in the team, and the coach is kind of just pushing you to the side. What did that do to you, first of all, as a person, and then also as a footballer?
Yeah, it was tough. Like you said, I was kind of flying. Some would say I was a star at Carolina. I was just another piece of a really good puzzle. But getting drafted first round, I think 13th or 14th to Sporting KC, thinking 19 years old, turning 20 soon, I thought it was the beginning, and I thought the MLS was just going to be like a stepping stone for me, and then it wasn't. it went the other way around, and yeah, that first year was really tough mentally, just because I knew, once I got back from World Cup, because we had World Cup that summer, so I was missing a lot of that first half of the season, because we had a lot of camps. We had CONCACAF qualifiers, U20 qualifiers. Then we had a pre-World Cup camp that was probably early to mid-May. Was gone for a month, and then World Cup for another month. And so I was already out for 4 months out of the first 6 months of the season. Get back late July, and you're just you think being in the national team, you would get some minutes, or at least some looks at trying to play, and but then it just became, over time, it became just me knowing I was going to practice, and that was it. And it was frustrating knowing that I was basically a practice player that whole first year. I would be on the 18 sometimes, but they would put someone else in front of me, and I would just be storming off and coming into the locker room after the game and just throw my shirt against my lockers. I was really frustrated because I've never been not playing. So it was just really difficult. Athletically, mentally, I was cooked as well. I was in a dark place. I really didn't like going to practice, because I just when you know you're not gonna play, and you're not gonna have any opportunity to play on the weekends, fuck, why am I doing this? It was tough. And there was definitely moments in those 3 years where it kind of was why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Am I good enough to do this? I start second guessing myself. So it was a difficult time. It was definitely a difficult time. So yeah, I mean, it was extremely humbling. And I probably should have done things a lot different. So you know how it is when you're 19, 20. You think when you're starting as a professional at that young age, you think you have the world at your feet and you kind of do whatever you can kind of do whatever you want. Like I said, first round draft pick, and so I was like asking for vacations when I should not be asking for time off. Like I haven't done anything to ask for time off. There's moments where I was like late to practice almost constantly, late to the check-in, late to when I would go away. Like sometimes I'd get back and my flight get canceled and I would be late to the next day of practice, which I'm already missing practice because I asked for time off, and then you're late to the day you're supposed to be back and it's not good. And I think I was just, and maybe it was a part of like that whole point of like, well, I'm not gonna play on the weekend, so why does it really matter? Obviously, looking back now, all those things matter. It's like the small details matter, and like I should have just stayed there, and kind of just put my head down, worked even more, and yeah, so I kind of fucked it there.
Yeah, I think like you're speaking now a lot about the off the field things. Is there something on the field that you could have taken and maybe implemented in your training program with the team, maybe asked for extra work that you, reflecting back, you wish you did?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think at that time, one of the biggest things that the fitness guy told me is I was overweight. So I should have been, which is crazy because I was, like, I would be playing I was national team and playing a lot at UNC, and there was never a topic like, oh yeah, you're too fat.
Gordito.
Yeah, gordito. Yeah, sucks. Yeah, too many for sure. But yeah, I think I should have focused more on like trying to, like when I did cut down weight, it was my third year, which your third year into as a pro, you should have been doing that before. But as soon as they told me that, I should have been doing it kind of more strictly, and maybe that would have gotten me some positive like things on with the coaching staff. So I don't know if that was like part of it, if they didn't think I was like physically matured or physically ready to be a part of being able to perform at that level in my first year, my rookie year. So I think that's probably like the biggest one I should have done earlier, I guess. Yeah.
It sounds to me too that it was, once you saw you weren't playing, it became a bit of a self-sabotage thing.
Yeah.
But like, oh, I'm just not going to show up to training, and the reason I'm not playing is because my bad behavior and I'm late to things and I'm not giving it my all. Where you can now make an excuse to say, yeah, this is why I'm not playing. It's not because I'm not good enough. Yeah. It's your cause. You're giving the coach good reason to not play you.
Exactly. And I didn't. Obviously, as you mature and you grow as your career, you start seeing those things like, oh fuck, yeah, that I fucked it there. But when I'm in the moment, I'm just like, well, who cares? Like, why does it matter too much? Like, I go to practice and I practice and it doesn't really matter. So if I don't go, okay. And again, there was moments in that first year, and I think probably all my 3 years that I was at Kansas City, that if I was not in the 18 at home, I wouldn't go to the game sometimes. And I didn't realize how bad that is until I go to New York City, and even if you're in the 20, you go to the stadium, and if you're not in the 18, you're still at the stadium, and everyone else that's not in the 20 is at the stadium. So you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that you need to be there for your teammates, for your team. So it was probably like the staff, I gave them great reasons not to play me. And they were probably like, well, this kid's not really bought into the team, to the culture, to us. Like, why spend so much time on him with trying to make him better when he's not showing that he wants to be here. Right. And I can say that now looking back, but at the time I was like, well, like, you guys aren't playing me, fuck you guys. Like, why does it matter?
I think unfortunately in those situations, it's It's just the first impression.
Yeah,
So once the first impression's gone, especially at that level,
Yeah.
they're just like, all right, this guy's done.
Yeah.
This guy's dead to me. And you need like another step, another first impression
Yeah.
to then kind of reignite your career, which
Yeah,
it
and
seems like you did.
Yeah, and like my very first impression with the manager was like they call your name and they give you the jersey to take a picture of the jersey, and he said something to the effect of like, we'll see you tomorrow or see you this week, because preseason was supposed to start relatively soon. And I was like, oh, I'm not going. Like, I'm going to camp right now. Like, I got to go to the camp, so I'm not going to preseason right now. I'll see you guys when I get back. So, like, it's just, like, looking back, like, looking back, these little things are like, that makes sense as to why things happened the way they happened. But like you said, I was fortunate enough to get another first impression at New York, and I kind of flew there, and it was an amazing time. It was night and day. New York to Kansas City. Kansas City, I hated my life there. I hated my time there. But when I got to New York, I like, it felt great. Yeah. I felt like I was part of a family and a team, and I think that's why it shows that I was able to play a lot more in 2 years rather than those first 3 years.
But before you get to New York, you're loaned out to Orlando City, correct? And Oklahoma City Energy, right?
Yeah.
In championship. Do you feel that helped you kind of get over that hump of not playing? Once again, it gave you a new first impression, and then obviously gave you some momentum to then be signed by New York City.
Yeah, I think Orlando City was tough because it was kind of an awkward stage for them, because it was their last year in USL and they were going to go up to MLS the following year. So I didn't really play too much there, and so that's the reason why they loaned me out to Orlando City, and then they recalled me and loaned me back out to OKC within like 4 months or so. Because I wasn't playing as much at Orlando City, and it was probably because they were looking for players for their future. But it was good just to be in a different environment and be training there and get more game time and kind of progress and develop a little bit more. When I did get to OKC, I started playing a lot more. I was starting and playing almost every game, and I think I played maybe a handful of games. I scored, and then the weekend after I scored, Sporting KC recalled me, and I played a couple games with KC in the league. So OKC definitely, that time loaned out definitely did help me develop more, and kind of get my foot into the door of getting some minutes in the MLS.
And then you go from not being part of the squad to then playing with Andre Pirlo, Frank Lampard in the midfield. So I mean, the highs and lows of footy, first off.
Yeah.
Like you go from a youth player, you're this top youth player, national championship, national team, not playing. Then you go down a league, start to do well again, and now you're playing with, I mean, the best midfielders in the game at the time.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, you go to a lesser market in Kansas City to one of the biggest markets in the world in New York City with all these guys and legends of the game, and it was crazy. And like I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was actually, so when they declined my option, Sporting Kansas City actually offered to re-sign me, and I said no, because there was, at that point, I didn't think there was any reason to stay there. And my agent's looking for teams, and there's a few teams like asking for me to go on trial. So I was going to Sounders for trial there. I'm in the airplane, traveling from like McAllen to Dallas to Seattle. Between Dallas and Seattle, my phone is going crazy. So when I land in Seattle, I put it off airplane mode, and I get a bunch of texts and calls from my agent saying like, hey, call me back as soon as you land. I call them, and they're like, yeah, New York City is gonna offer you, so you're gonna go to Fort Myers or wherever they were at the time. And I was like, okay, sick. I'm here in Seattle. So yeah, I was in Seattle to like go on trial in Seattle, and then they offered me a contract in New York. So I stayed in Seattle for like 3 days, then flew out to Florida to meet up with the team. And first guy that that I see is David, and he's like, welcome to the team, welcome to like the club. We're all here. Come like sit down. We're gonna have dinner. How was your flight and stuff? Super cool.
Another World Cup.
Yeah, another World Cup winner. And then I step into so like obviously meeting him, I'm starstruck, and then I walk into the dining room, and there's Frank and Andrea and Patrick Vieira, and he comes up and is like, welcome, like, I'm happy to have you here. Yeah, Tommy Mac. No, hey, Tommy Mac's a cult legend, bro. Tommy Mac, Poku, all them, Mix This Screwed, a bunch of guys.
That's right.
And I met Claudio as well. He was down there, Claudio Reina. So it was just night and day, pretty much. Like, you go from not like local stars, like country stars, and then you have worldwide stars at New York. So it was crazy.
What was that like, just being in a midfield with Pirlo and Lampard? And you see the team sheet and you're like, all right, we got David Villa up front, Pirlo's next to me, Lampard's ahead of me, and you're just like, what am I doing here?
It was sick. Honestly, the coaching staff, they told. So like at that time, Frank was kind of injured, so he was kind of like doing some rehab. So they would put Andrea, myself, and another younger guy, and they told us basically run around, win the ball, give it to Andrea, give it to the Italian, like kicking and screaming, give it to the Italians. Yeah. So it was just that, and I was more than happy to do that. Yeah, I was more than happy to do that. Win it, give it to him, let him make the game, let the stars make the game, and you're fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy just seeing my name next to theirs in the team sheet.
And I imagine at that point you have now changed your approach in terms of being a more professional on and off the field, coming to training prepared.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing next to those guys, I mean, that's the least you can do.
Yeah. I mean, I would see every day that they would treat training like a game. It was life or death for them. Every single time we stepped over those white lines. So I was always showing up early to whatever time we needed to show up. And then every time we needed to work, we worked. We rested. There was more times where I did a lot of individual stuff with the other coaching staff, the technical coach and the fitness guy, just to make sure like we are developing. And they kind of pushed it on us as well. So it was better because they would put the onus on us to like kind of pursue that, but they would also like, hey, come on, let's go do this. And I was like, all right, yeah, for sure. Anything to get better, yeah, I'm in. So yeah, the approach from Mikey at Kansas City to Mikey at New York was completely different, and I think it shows why I was able to play so much and be a kind of a good piece in the puzzle as well, and then play in front of some guys that I probably shouldn't be playing in front of, like some stars. But yeah, it was very much a different approach.
Yeah. Is there a moment in that 2-year span where, whether it's on the field or off the field, that what's your favorite moment that was really something that sticks with you to this day?
I think just everything I guess one of the biggest moments that sticks with me was to show that the club was at a different place. Like, they wanted more. It didn't matter what we did. Like, they always wanted more. Was the first time we beat New York Red Bulls was at home, and we take a picture because we're all celebrating because it's the first time I think they beat them in the 2-year history. And we take a picture, right? And we're all celebrating in the locker room. And it's like posted somewhere in the facility, in the train facility. One of the sheikhs was there, and he's seen it, and then like we all sit down in the dining room to talk about like just him having a meeting with us. And he goes, I see that picture, and it's a great picture, but like that picture's only because we won a game. Like we don't we don't care for that picture. We need to have a picture where we're holding the trophy. Like that, like it's good, but why do we have that? We need to have pictures of us winning trophies. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is different. Like we have to stop thinking small and start thinking, okay, how can we build and build and build throughout the season to get to that final step. And and then just seeing all the guys, and like every time we lost, like David would go sometimes like he was so frustrated he would go into the bathroom like and be crying, guys crying for games. And I'm like, when I was at Sporting KC or UNC, like I've never saw anyone be that low after we lost a game. And I was like, yeah, this makes sense as to why they're at where they're at. And then I gotta approach every game in that manner as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you see Champions League winners and World Cup winners caring about a game at the tail end of their career, and here you are, young Mikey Lopez, and you're like, I don't feel that way. It makes you question, okay, what am I doing wrong? Maybe it's not. Maybe that's also not healthy to be getting so upset. But also, it makes you question, like, okay, I should care more about this, because if these guys are caring that much, it's the least I can do is.
And they would train every day, like super hard. Like they're running around. It's not like sometimes people would ask me, like, oh, like you play with these guys, like did they even care? Like were they just here just to? That's like the thought process. Like, is everyone just here just to get a paycheck and that's it? And for them, it wasn't. Like they worked so hard in training, and you could see it in games that they would work so hard. So, like, it was humbling for me to see how humble all four of them were. Like David, Andrea, Frank, and Patrick, how humble they were and how hardworking they were, because it showed me, like, okay, I need to stay grounded and work my ass off every single time I step onto the field.
How did your game develop there, and what did you learn from those guys in particular?
I think, well, the humble thing is, like, don't get, even if I have some success, don't get too conceited with it, and keep working each day. And then obviously with Andrea, it's just like kind of using, and I still need to get better at it. Obviously, like seeing pictures before you get the ball, and like asking for the ball when you know what to do with the ball. Like, don't just ask for it and then like get it and then, oh shit, yeah. Like when you have a picture, that's when you ask for it and then hit it and then play it first time. Because it was so hard to press him in training. Like we would do build-off phases and they would play center back play to him, and I'm stepping out and this guy would just flick it around me to like a perfect pass to the 10 or the winger, and they're out and they're breaking on us, and like, fuck, like I just wasted my time just to get here and not even touch them. So yeah, it was just that, and just like I said, working hard at no matter what, working hard.
What about Frank? Because he was a way different player than Pirlo. He's way more attacking, more offensive side of things. Obviously pure power and a great finisher, but what did you take from his game? Because him and Pirlo had a way different style of playing midfield.
For me, I was more, not that I play like Pirlo at all, but I'm more of a deeper guy. So, but seeing Frank, just seeing how he times his run into the box, and just knowing when to make those runs, it was crazy, because he would get into like amazing positions all the time. And you saw it, especially when he was younger and at Chelsea, but even at New York, you would see how he would just use his body and then find the right time to make it into the box. So I think I could do a little bit more of that, but I am, like I said, I am more of a deeper lying midfielder rather than one that gets into the opposing box.
And then you go from NYCFC and then you go to San Antonio in the championship. Why leave the MLS at the time? And how do you feel that season went?
Yeah, I think the reason why was, and I spoke to Patrick Vieira about it, asking him if he thought it would be a good idea or a good decision for me to go down. The reason why was to get more minutes. Thinking that if I got more minutes, I could develop faster, I can show who I am, what I am, and then make a move back up to the MLS. At that time, it wasn't impossible to make that jump down, then jump back up, but it was a lot harder than it is now. And I probably should have tried to find a team in the MLS to go on, like at least on trial, and then go to the USL. But it just didn't happen like that. How my season went at San Antonio, it started off really well, and then it kind of, in a way, kind of fell out with the coach, and he wasn't playing me for a little bit. And then I started playing again towards like the second half of the season, and it ended up not being such a great season for us as a whole, because we didn't make playoffs, and it was the first time actually in my playing career not to make a playoff, like as a team. So it wasn't ideal and it wasn't great, but I did enjoy playing at San Antonio. It was being able to play at home, close to family, and just being at that stadium with those fans. It was sick, but it wasn't a great season for us in general.
If I remember correctly, that was kind of the end of the time when USL Championship was considered kind of like second and third. So I think it wasn't respected in the same way that it is now, where there's a lot of like the Tyler Pashers of the world that kind of have yo-yoed back and forth. And it probably just was in a situation where you're just like,
Yeah, I think, at that time it was kind of more, there was still a lot of second teams playing in the USL, so you had a lot of like reserve players playing there. So yeah, it wasn't as respected as it is now, where there's a lot more independent clubs, and where guys are playing really well here, they find moves to the MLS or find moves to Europe or outside the country. So yeah, I think that was kind of a mistake on my end to get out of the MLS so quickly, but it is what it is. We live and learn, you know.
Was there any opportunities for you to leave the country, particularly in Europe?
There was an opportunity to go play in Mexico. On loan in I want to say between my second and third year at Sporting. It was at Sinaloa, Dorados, and they were, I think, in Liga Ascensos, the second division, and it was for the Clausura. So it's like they play like around the world, but they kind of split it up into two tournaments, where the first tournament's August to December, and the second tournament January to May. And they wanted me to. I went for a week to try out, or not to try out, just to go on to train with them. And they said like if he does well, like maybe we'll ask for him on loan. And Sporting KC what they had told my agent was like if they want him on loan, like we'll let him go. So I'm there for like 3-4 days. I'm there with my dad, and training's going well, and the team asked like, yeah, we want him to stay. We want him to play in one of our Copa MX games, which is like the Open Cup for Mexico, and they're going to play against Chivas, and they're like, yeah, we want him for that game, so let's get everything sorted so that can happen. And so they asked for the loan from Sporting, and my agent tells me like, okay, Sporting wants you to go back to preseason, like because your weeks start, like you guys are gonna start preseason already, so go back and we'll get it sorted, and so you can come back to Mexico. Go to preseason, and then the coach, I guess, tells my agent like, nah, we're gonna keep him here. We're gonna use him. And then so I'm there in like I think in Arizona. My agent tells me that, so I'm like kind of sad about it, but it is what it is. And then they loan me out to OKC or something, and so I stay. So my opportunity to go to Mexico diminished there. So, but yeah, I wanted that move, and I was excited for that move, and I thought it would have been a great move for me. But it didn't happen.
You've mentioned agents a couple of times now. Like, how much influence have they had, or did you have the same agent the whole time, or?
No, I've changed agents.
How much influence have the few of them had in terms of your decision making, or are you the type of person that's like, I make the decision final and he's just kind of on the side?
I like to say it's like kind of collaborative. I always ask for their opinion. Obviously, it's my decision at the end of the day, but I'm always like trying to figure out what they think and what their advice is. So yeah, I feel like it's more of a collaboration rather than like I tell them or they tell me.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because as Sean and I have kind of been like more on the lower levels of the American soccer and foreign soccer pyramid, is like we take everything and we have to kind of do things ourselves because there's not really always agents at this level looking out for you. Whereas if you're playing at New York City, Sporting Kansas City, I'd imagine the agents are a much better caliber.
I think having, I've always thought, in my opinion, I've always thought the agent can only do so much if you're performing. Like it's obviously it's at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you're good enough and you're playing well and you're showing, well, yeah, the agent can do a lot. But if you're not, then agents kind of handcuffed to who they're representing. But there's times where maybe I should have been with a different agent where they probably had more clout or more connections in the league compared to others. Yeah, that could have happened. But yeah, it's but then again, like since I've left kind of New York, I've kind of found the teams by myself in a way, and then I just have the agent kind of figure out the details, so I'm not kind of stuck in all the intermediary stuff that I don't really care about. Yeah. So.
And plus too, like with the Mexican league thing and Sporting Kansas City wind up keeping you, you get tied up by clubs. Ultimately, you're not totally in control of situations because in that situation you could have left, but then they're like, actually no, we want him. But then it winds up not working out and they loan you somewhere else. How do you think your approach to that or your acceptance of that over your career has changed? Whereas you realize that there's probably 95% that you control and there's 5% that at some point the club kind of owns you as a player.
Yeah, I think that's very true to MLS. Maybe less true in USL. No, it's true everywhere because you have the options, and usually the options are not really, not really your options. I think it's kind of one of those things where you got to control what you can control and let the rest like figure itself out. There's no, at least for me now, like there's no reason to stress on things that I can't control, because you can't control it. You have no say in some of the things. So might as well just focus on your work on the day and training, and just do the best that you can in that day and the next day and the day after that, and then just see where the chips land and kind of let it go that way. So I think that's probably the best thing for anybody. Just kind of focus on what you control the controllables, and everything else will fall into place.
And then you landed in Birmingham, where you played 5 seasons, correct?
6. I was there 6 seasons, but I didn't play my 6th season. Yeah.
Yes. And let's talk about that. So throughout your career, you were relatively healthy, no major injuries, and then you tear your Achilles in preseason.
Yeah.
At the age of, you would have been 29 at the time?
I was 30.
30. Yeah. What's going through your head, first off, when the injury happens?
Actually, Achilles was 31, sorry.
31.
Yeah.
And then are you thinking at that point, my career's over, am I gonna come back for this? Do I still wanna play? Do I wanna do rehab for a year to come back? Are you having these thoughts and conversations with yourself?
Yeah, honestly, so I've had another surgery before that. It wasn't as big, or I had 2 surgeries before that, and the first one was in New York. I had like a scope in my right ankle. I think if I was healthy that year, I would have played more. But I missed out a good amount, so I kind of lost my standing in the roster. Then when I turned 30, I had a hernia surgery, so it's not terrible, but shitty nonetheless. And then 31, Achilles, and the very first thing I texted my wife was like, I think I'm done. And she's like freaking out, like what happened? What's going on? And I was like, I tore my Achilles. Like, I don't know. Like, this might be it for me. Like, I don't know. But it was like kind of like tongue in cheek, kind of joking around, kind of not. But I went to talk to the doctors and everything, and I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna go out in this way. Like, I'm gonna work hard to get back. So I'm working hard. I'm like 6 weeks. Like, the progression was like, you go to, every 2 weeks you go from non-weight bearing to semi-weight bearing to full weight bearing. I go full weight bearing 6 weeks, and one of my incisions isn't closing up properly, so I have to go get another surgery to like clean that out and close it. So I go back to non-weight bearing, and I'm in a shitty boot that's like kind of like open in the back so I can let that breathe. But then I take off I'm kind of like, it's not closing, so like the only way you can kind of close is to let it breathe. So I take off my boot, I'm letting it breathe. I'm in my scooter at home, and I'm going to the kitchen. I fall down and I re-rupture my Achilles like 2 months after my first surgery. So it was literally 2 months.
You crashed your scooter.
Yes.
In your
yeah. So fuck scooters, bro. The scooters are the worst. I hate scooters. Any scooter. If I see a scooter, I kick it. No, I'm joking.
You've done your Achilles twice.
So I've done my Achilles twice. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did my Achilles twice in 2 months last year, and that second time was actually the time that like I was more hurt, and I actually cried. Like, the first time I didn't cry, and wasn't in pain, and I was like, okay, like, I'll get the surgery and I'm gonna be fine. I'll be fine. And the second one, I was like, I did it, and I was like, fuck, I worked so hard for 2 months just to go back to square one, and now I don't know if I'm gonna be back for this season. And I don't know how long it'll take. Like, the doctor was telling me before the first surgery, he was like, yeah, it should be like a 9 to 12 months. So you should be, if you hit 9, you should be back by the end of the season. Good. And then the second time, he's like, yeah, this is a 12 to 14, like 12, 14, 12 plus month recovery. So I'm like, fuck, what? It's March. We only have
March 24.
Yeah, March 29. Yeah. March of 24. And I'm like, well, maybe this season I'm done. I don't know what's going to happen next year. Like, hopefully the club respects me enough to be like, okay, you've been here from the beginning. We'll pick up your option. Like, you've done a lot. We'll pick up your option. And I'll be all right. If not, then gotta fucking figure it out somehow. Hopefully someone gives me an opportunity. So there's that first month after the second surgery, I'm like, I don't leave my house. I'm I'm scared to crutch around, be anywhere, because I already did my Achilles the second time doing that. And now I'm like extra careful, so it's like kind of getting in the depression mode, kind of, because you're just stuck inside the house all the time. My wife is doing everything because I can't do anything, and I feel like a piece of shit because I can't help her out. I can't walk my dog. I can't go outside. I can't do anything. Can't even play soccer. I'm like watching it because I need to get my mind off things, and I'm just like bored. And then there's a lot of time between that and once I start kind of being able to put some weight on it, where I can like start kind of focusing more on the rehab stuff. Then once I started focusing on the rehab stuff, the doubt is still there, and I'm always like super conscious, like, holy shit, like, what if I step this wrong, or what if I push off weird, it's gonna come out, like, it'll tear again. So it was a constant battle, like, within my head for like the first 3 months. But after that, I think I was able to start getting a little bit more confident in myself and started pushing, and I pushed really hard in rehab that I was able to make it back to training within seven months, which was
full training.
Yeah, I was like in full training. Well, modified, and then towards the end of October, I was in full training, and I was like hoping that they would play me for like the final 2 games of the season, and I was like pushing hard so I can at least like show in training like I'll be all right for next year, then so that they can pick up my option. But even like during that month of training, I'm like, I jump up and I land, and I'm like, holy shit, I just did that. All right, cool, I did it. Like I can do it. But then there's like, I'm playing, I'm not thinking, and as soon as a drill stops, I'm like, fuck, my Achilles. Like what am I doing? I'm pushing way too hard, maybe. So it was just like a constant battle of like trying to balance that confidence and that doubt with this, and yeah.
Is there anyone during that period? I imagine your wife would be one, but is there anyone during that period or anything that really helped you through it?
I mean, yeah, my wife, my family. I did have like a therapist / sports psychologist that I would talk to and kind of see how to get out of my own head and like kind of focus on like the good stuff that's happening around me. I think that was extremely beneficial for me at that time. And I think it helped me a lot. But yeah, I think it was just a combination of all of those aspects that helped me get through that tough time. And even till this day, I still don't feel 100% myself. And there's still moments where like I talk to a sports psychologist friend and try and see like how can I get out of this rut or mindset, and he's helped me a lot as well. So yeah, I think they have been extremely helpful for me at that time, during this time actually.
You talked about getting in that kind of rut and depression when you first get injured, but then you get injured again. And for you were playing in the U.S. at the highest level, and you've been playing since a young age at the highest level. And I would imagine soccer is the only thing you ever did. Yeah. Because unlike myself, I always had to do stuff next to football because I wasn't quite at that level. But for you, it was like you're a soccer player, and then all of a sudden that's taken away. Yeah. Did you go through a point where like, what can I do if I'm not playing? What do I do? Where do we even go if this doesn't work out?
Yeah, for sure. I was. I think the biggest one was like, if I were to come back, will I be myself again? I don't know. Am I going to be able to play at the same level that I did play? I don't know. But if I don't come back, what am I going to do? I've only known soccer for, like you said, my whole life, and I don't know what else I can do. And I think at that time, what helped me out a lot was that I was doing my licenses, my coaching license. So I was starting to see a different, like, okay, maybe I'm not, like, maybe I can't be a soccer player anymore. I don't know if I will be able to play soccer at the same level as I was. But maybe I can stay in soccer and be a coach. And so I think that helped me out a lot. And then in the fall of last year, I started coaching a team, and I found like a lot of joy in doing that. So I think that was my other outlet, my way to kind of figure out my next path if I wasn't able to continue playing. And I think so. Thankfully that happened. But if not, then I couldn't tell you what would have happened. I couldn't tell you what I would do or what. Like, I've had offers to do some other stuff, and I've spoken to my wife to like see what her thoughts of me doing something else, like completely outside of soccer. And she would be like, no, like, you would hate yourself. Like, you would hate your life if you did something that was like didn't revolve around soccer. So thankfully she knocked some sense into me. But yeah, I think the coaching, it was kind of like perfect timing, because the coaching stuff really helped me kind of figure out myself outside of just a soccer player.
I think it's great. Like, every situation, no matter how bad it is, you can always take some positives from it and really embrace them.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like was always kind of my superpower at that time, was that I'd always find, especially before my second surgery, like I was down, but I was always like joking around and finding like silver linings of things. After the second surgery, it took me a while to find that. silver lining. But I ended up finding it, but it did take time. And I think that's the most important thing about all of my experiences, that, yeah, I've had some shitty experiences, but I learned from those things, and I can use that for future things. Like I know how to help out a rookie here that's like, if I can see that they're kind of going through the same path that I was going through, like, okay, well, don't do that. Like, kind of stay focused on doing extra work and trying to get yourself better. If I become a coach, like, at least now I know how to talk to coaches and don't talk to them or don't treat them the way I was treated the first few years of my career. So everything that's ever happened to me, like I have to find some lesson in it. And I think that's the most important thing for anybody, is to find a lesson in everything that you go through.
And staying on that, in your words, how would you define yourself as a player and a teammate?
As a player, I'm a hardworking player. I work for the team, and I'll do anything for the team. Whatever the coach asks, I'll do that. Like I'll play whatever position you want me to play. It may not be the best, but I'll do it. I'll make sure to do the job as best as I can. And I'm always, I don't care to be. Obviously, we all have egos, and we all want to be a star, but like if I can make someone else better and I'll unlock them and their potential and they make them look really good, I am more than happy to do that. Like if you need me to do the dirty work so you guys can go attack and go score, and if you don't get back, I can go defend, I'll do that 100%. And I think that's the type of player I am, like a hardworking person that is a warrior, will fight all 90 minutes regardless of the scoreline. And what was the other?
And a teammate.
Teammate, I think now it's just I will help out in any way that you want me to help out, if you're willing to help yourself out as well. Because you can try hard, but if the person doesn't want to be helped, then it's like, I can't really make you do it. Yeah.
So full circle moment here, because you at Sporting Kansas City was that player.
Yeah.
Do you now, in the leadership role as an older player, instead of just saying like, I'll piss off, he doesn't want to make himself better anyway, or do you kind of hold his hand and like, hey, you should do this?
Yeah, I think
just, listen to me because I've gone through this before.
Yeah.
This is going to make you a better player.
Yeah, I think my way I do it, like I kind of, maybe it's not the best way. I'll kind of like joke around, like, hey, like, why aren't you in the gym? Like, come on, let's get in the gym. What are we doing? Like,
today.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, like get in the gym. Like, well, let's work. And if they take it on board, they take it on board. And if not, then like, okay, I'll try again next time. And if I see them in the gym, like, oh yes, good stuff. Like keep doing it. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to do it, if you want to work, then work, and I'm there to work with you if you want me to work with you. But so yeah, and I think this year I've done it. Last year I did a lot where I was like helping out guys if they want to do extra sessions where the coaching staff wasn't available. Like they would hit me up and I'd be like, yeah, let's go work, and I would like run them through a session because I couldn't really do much because of my Achilles, but. Yeah, I'm always open to work if someone wants to do some stuff.
I think the final piece of the puzzle now is to bring us back to Portland, Maine, or bring us to Portland, Maine.
Here we are with the lighthouse in the background.
And I'm sure we have a lot of Hearts of Pine supporters listening. So I think the one question that I would have is, obviously, so Birmingham doesn't work out at the end of the last season. They won't bring you back, but a former connection, someone you knew from the past, is Bobby Murphy, and he gets the job here. I guess walk us through how your relationship formed back in Texas and kind of what brought you to the lovely state of Maine.
Yeah. It's a great state, to be fair. The weather's kind of shaky at times, but it's a great state.
It's nice right now.
It's really nice, yeah. So yeah, I met Bobby when I was 12, 13. He was the soccer academy director at St. Stephen's Episcopal School, which is like like a renowned like prep school in the South. I guess it's one of the best prep schools in the South. So they're really focused on academics, but they did have a soccer academy there. It was separate to a club, so you would go there to school, and if you had like off periods, you would go practice with the academy. Then you go back to school. Sometimes train after school with the academy, and then you can go off training with the club, the local club. And I met him there when I started boarding school in 8th grade. So I left my family when I was 13. Been away from my family since 13 until now. And he helped me out a lot, especially soccer-wise. But then he would be my dorm parent sometimes. I think I've had him twice in my 5 years there. Once as a sophomore and the second time as a senior, or yeah, like that. And so I would see him like all the time. He lived on campus, so if we ever needed anything, we would go to his house and just hang out, kick it, have an actual family there with us. So it was like another father figure, just outside of like my dad and my grandpa. So that's how the connection started, and we kind of always been in contact since then. He had actually hit me up when he had gotten the St. Louis 2 job. And that was going into my 5th year at Birmingham. So at 20, when I was, 2020? 23, yeah. And he had asked me like if I would sign for him at that time, and I would have, but I had just re-signed a contract with Birmingham for 2 more years. So we stayed in contact. My brother worked with his son in Rome, Georgia, at a different boarding school. So the connection has always been there from back then till now. And then when he got the job here, he like called me, and he was like, "Would you be interested in coming here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd be interested, but let me see. Like, I have my meeting with the manager or the GM next week. Let me see what Birmingham does with me. If they keep me, then obviously I can. If they offer me a contract, then I probably will try and stay here or try and go summer USL championship." And then I keep pushing the GM at Birmingham because they keep kind of ducking it, keep kind of pushing back the meetings. So I was like, "Hey, I need to know because my apartment lease is ending, and I need to know if I need to renew my apartment lease or if I can just leave." So we have our meeting, and he's like, 5-minute meeting. Mind you, 5-minute meeting. I've been there 6 years. The first or second signing of the club history. 5-minute meeting, and told me, "Thank you, no thank you, we're not keeping you." And so I was like, "All right, cool, I'm out." And I let Bobby know, and he's like, "Okay, give me some time and let's see if we can figure something out." And then we talk, and it's like mid-December when they offered me a contract, and I talked to my wife about it. I talked to my wife when Bobby calls, and she's like looking everything up on social, yeah, looking everything, looking up the city, see how it is, and she's like, "It looks sick, like let's go do it." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's see how everything pans out. Like, hopefully I can get an opportunity to stay in championship, but if not, then like I'm more than happy to go play for Bobby." And things happened the way they happened. I talked to the Rhode Island coach because he's a friend of mine. He was an assistant at Birmingham. We talk, and he's like, the most important thing is that you be around people that love you and that will care for you, and that know you. And so I was like, okay, like that's good to know. Like, why don't you sign me then? You know me. We're boys. But nah. But like he had talked to Bobby about. I guess they had spoken because Bobby and him know each other, and he was like, "I heard you're gonna go up with Bobby." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like, I'm still kind of weighing my options, but I think it was the right decision to come here and play for Bobby, kind of get my feet back under me, and yeah, it's been good so far. So I've enjoyed my my decision, my time here, and I don't regret my decision coming down to League One and playing in Portland. And the fans have been amazing, so it's much better. Yeah, shout out fans. To be honest, it's like night and day compared to Birmingham. And I don't want to shit on Birmingham, but like it's just
And you guys would get decent crowds.
We would get decent crowds, yeah. Like the first few years, we got really good crowds. I think the biggest downfall was when we moved to Protective, the 40,000 seat stadium. I think a lot of people just kind of didn't like that, and they kind of stopped going to games. I think it was more expensive, and just when you're in a big stadium, the atmosphere isn't as good as a smaller, intimate stadium. But the people here have been amazing and super bought in, and it's just, you can see how soccer crazy they're becoming here. And it's tough in Alabama when you're in the South, football is king, and you got Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama, an hour west, and you got Auburn another hour in whichever direction. So football's king there, and those are like the pro sports there. So it's tough, but yeah, it's been a good transition.
What is the proudest moment of your career?
Any part? Could it, like, not professional?
Correct.
I think the two proudest would be the national championship at UNC, and the second would probably be World Cup, playing the U20 World Cup. Obviously, it's not the full men's World Cup, but like getting the opportunity to like represent your country in like a big tournament like that was amazing. Is amazing. So I think those are probably my two proudest moments.
I remember watching the final, Ben Spies.
Yeah.
What a shot.
Yeah, great shot. Great shot. Crazy game too, because it was against Charlotte. So big brother, little brother. Dynamic, that's right.
Who's big?
Yeah, UNC, Carolina. But also, like, it was weird because that was in Birmingham. That Final Four had happened in Birmingham. So when I go back to Birmingham, we're practicing around the stadium. So it's like, this is weird. I'm back here. Yeah. Never thought I'd be back here. Right. But so yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, I think those two probably my biggest, my proudest moments. Obviously, getting drafted is great. Playing your first MLS game, playing multiple MLS games, is always great. But I think those two are just like things I keep close to my heart, because it's one, for the championship, I was like a big contributor to that, and then World Cup is World Cup, yeah. National team, yeah.
And let's talk about the national team. I mean, were you in the youth camps before U20, or did it kind of everything spiraled in all in at once, where it was national championship, getting drafted, and the U20 World Cup all at once?
No, I was part of the youth national team system from U15. The one team I didn't make was the 17, so I didn't make residency because it was the 92 age that year. But I was part of the U15s, U18, so all my junior and senior year in high school, I was missing a lot of school because I was going to a lot of camps. U20 started in, I think, the spring semester of my freshman year. That's when stuff started for that. And then I was missing a lot of school at Carolina my sophomore season for camps, and then missed all of the first half of the MLS season, my rookie season, for national team. So I was always kind of in it, and I had actually gotten called up to U23s for like the Olympics, and again they asked for my release from Sporting, and Sporting said, no, we'll need them, and we're gonna play them.
Sporting can't say Footwork.
we're gonna play them. We're gonna play them, and it was a U23 camp in Bahamas, and I don't know who they're gonna play it. And then I think we go to Vancouver, and I don't think I play, or I played like the last 10 minutes or something. So I didn't play, and I wasn't released to the national team camp. So maybe I could have been part of the U23s and part of the qualifiers, because we didn't make the Olympics that year. But we'll never know. Yeah. That's what I keep telling everybody, but no one wants to listen to me. But yeah, so I was always kind of in the fold with the national team.
Was Caleb Stenko on that team?
He was.
Yeah, he's a Footwork guest.
He was on it for
Same position, more or less, right?
Yeah.
You guys probably played together or competed against each other.
Well, I think he started playing. I want to say World Cup. He played center back a little bit.
Was Joe Zhao on that team too?
Joe Zhao was a year older, I think. Yeah, but I've known Stanko for a long time, like 18, maybe younger than that. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome. And reflecting on the journey right now, what helped you to get to this moment? So why did Mikey make it as a pro, and why is he still going?
A lot of luck. A lot of luck. I think a lot of hard work and like determination, because there's a lot of moments where, like growing up, I was never the best player on my team, but I always worked harder than everybody, and that's what got me lucky. And I've never kind of left that, and that's kind of been my staple, is my hard work. But also like the determination, because you got to be able to withstand a lot of bullshit, really, and be able to go through a lot of things where people don't think you're gonna make it, or they say you're not gonna make it, and you gotta just like push through it and not care what other people say. Like another story, that I went on my Carolina visit, and I was a senior. So I was a senior in high school, and I went on my official visit, and one of the college seniors there, he looked at me and he asked me, "What position do you play?" And I was like, "I'm a midfielder." And he goes, "You won't play in the ACC. Like you're too small to be playing in the ACC." So I was like, "All right, well, sick, I guess. We'll see how that goes." And then I go to Carolina and I play my whole 2 years, and we would do everything there. So it was like, so you just got to be able to withstand a lot of critiques and a lot of people thinking that you can't make it, because if you fall into that trap, then you won't make it, because if you'll start believing what other people think.
I think more than any other sport, it's a game of opinions.
Yeah.
Like track, it's not an opinion. Who ran faster? Football, like more powerful, you're gonna withstand. But soccer, like you can have an athlete, you can have a technical player. It's just game of opinions.
And that's why I'm saying that it's a lot of luck, because you gotta favor some coach. If a coach likes you for whatever reason, he'll give you an opportunity, and if you take it, you run with it. If you don't, you don't, and hopefully some other coach will give you a shot. So it is a lot of luck, but like I said, you create your own luck by doing things. So yeah, those three things I think is what has kept me in the game for so long.
Good, we're gonna get into our fast feet round. Favorite player growing up?
Cristiano Ronaldo. First person that made me fall in love with the game, Ronaldinho though. But idol, Cristiano Ronaldo.
I think we covered this next one, but favorite moment in football is the national championship and the World Cup. So most difficult moment in football?
Not playing at all for a whole year.
Fair enough. Injury.
Yeah. Oh, injury. Yeah, actually, injury might be harder. Yeah.
Best advice you ever received?
Best advice: to enjoy yourself. And it was from Patrick Vieira. He was like, don't, like, take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously. Like, we play a game at the end of the day. Like, enjoy your life. Like, you have to enjoy being here, enjoy going out, have a drink or go out to eat. Like, enjoy your life, and that will help you in the long run, especially on the field.
All right. Best player you've ever played against?
Against, I would say Pogba or Kaká.
And with?
The big three. The big three. The big three.
You gotta pick one.
I'll go. Okay, at that time.
impressed you the most?
At that time, I'll go David Villa.
What impressed you the most about him?
His work rate was unreal. Like, and he was running around like he was 17 years old, super fast, had quick feet, and every time he shot the ball, the sound of the ball sounded like a gunshot. It was unreal. It was crazy how hard he could hit a ball. So I think he definitely impressed me the most.
If you weren't a footballer, what would you be?
At one point I wanted to be an architect because I like building Legos. So that was my reasoning for architect. Yeah. Yep. Built a big roller coaster and I was like, this is my job. Yeah. This is my dream job.
There you go.
All right, and last one, any quote or mantra that you live by?
No.
Make your own path. I think the biggest one that I liked was like a Rocky Balboa quote, I think. He had said, like, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down as long as you, like, get up. Like, you can get knocked down 7 times, but as long as you get up the 8th time and keep pushing forward and keep moving forward, like, that's, like, what winners are, like, made of or champions are made of. I think that has been my biggest quote is like, no matter what goes on, like I gotta keep pushing forward, keep going forward, and everything will sort itself.
Mikey, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure learning about you. Let's up the hearts. Let's go win a championship this season.
Up the hearts, bub.
Up the hearts. Stand at the hava.
But yeah, no, thank y'all, and let's definitely go win one.